صبت علي مصائب لو أنها صبت على الأيام صرنا لياليها.
My elders and brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I welcome you all for having taken your time to come and listen to this important function. And we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He is able to enable us to understand certain realities and apply them in our lives. So the topic that I was being given today was about the role of social media in propagating or in influencing the minds of the masses towards understanding the issue of Karbala. This is a very important topic, though it is kind of an analytical topic that requires deeper understanding, deeper philosophical understanding of the whole issue of social media and what is its part and how is it formed in the social structure that we are living in today. So it's kind of a deep discussion, but we don't want to go into those things because those things are sociological, philosophical discussions, the basis behind a certain trend. So if you are aware of the fact that in societies, especially in sociology, there is a discussion about the role of society, the role of a leader in a society, the role of certain influential people in the society, and how a certain trend is formed in a society. So sometimes you see the thing is that in this world, either you can influence people privately, go to them one by one and talk to them, or you create a social trend. Now the creation of a social trend is not a normal thing. It requires a huge background of struggle and strive. It doesn't happen overnight. That's why when we see that suddenly in the community there are so many problems happening, so many issues that we are trying to solve, but we cannot solve them straight away because the fact is that when you want to create a social trend, a social change, there's a whole baggage behind it. There's a whole struggle that is there in the background that needs to be performed. And this struggle depends era by era. So for example, at the times of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and before that, the societies had communal gatherings, the societies had family gatherings, they had tribal gatherings. And these were the opportunities that people had to spread their messages. So for instance, at the time of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we had tribal gatherings. In these tribal gatherings, what would happen? The tribal leader would sit together with his shura, with his group of elders, and there would be some youth, and then there would be poetry. People come with poetry. They would speak words of poetry. What would those poetry depict? That thing, they would either reflect the society or put forth certain issues that are required for the society. So sometimes you would see they would recite poetry of war poetry. That this person took out the knife and struggled and fought these many people. This person killed maybe 100 people. So they would recite those poetries and prose of war. And this is how they would encourage and inculcate a social trend of people fighting. People struggling and fighting in the way of, let's say, whatever their aims are. Because those tribes at that time, before the Prophet's arrival, had some, you can say materialistic and cultural reasons behind their struggles. So how do they inculcate that? They would do that through these gatherings, through these social seatings, and that is how a social trend would be created. There were also family gatherings. Before, for example, the era of movies and TVs, before that, I don't know if some of our elders are here that would remember, that before the television's arrival, how were people depicting for example, certain cultural issues. Sometimes we complain, how come nowadays people come lesser in the mosques? Right now there is so many other issues engaging the youth, so many other issues, that we cannot avoid that. Look, at those times, 50, 100 years back, or even 200 years back, the only way people would socialize was in a community. If they come in the Imambara, after the Imambara, after the Majlis, they sit down and talk and have a laughter and chat. That was their entertainment. They would go back home, they would have family gatherings maybe once a week, twice a week, thrice a week, where they would sit down, an elder would say stories, remind them of the past. There were such communal family gatherings. I give you an example of Iran. In Iran, you know the poetry is the poetry of Maulavi, Maulana Rumi, as they call him, Saadi, and Shirazi. Hafiz Shirazi. The poetry of Hafiz, wonderful poetry, even it's been translated now. Someone, if you get time, you can read them. They would sit down once a week, or once, maybe at night sometimes, the families would sit down, and this was their entertainment. Poetry that has message. This was how social trends were created, from families and up to societal change. So when today we see that in the mosques, in the social gatherings that we have kept, there are fewer people gathering, it's because there is a problem. Or rather, there is not problem, there is a new issue that has come, and that is another media which is called virtual media. Now today they call it the social media. I would like to question this, because social media is a very vast term. Social media means it can include poetry, it can include, sitting together like this. This is a social media. A lecture is a social media, a medium of having a social gathering. What you should call this is a virtual media or virtual social media. Don't call it social media. The very fact that they name it social media is they want to substitute these social gatherings with that. Won't call it social media. Instead, in Farsi, they call it Fazai Majazi. Fazai Majazi means what? Virtual space. There is real space, there is virtual space. This is a better word. See, the words even that they use have got targets. They know which word to use when, because then they use a certain word, a certain terminology for something, that thing becomes the reality. People start to use it. For example, they say, this is social, this is a society. It is a virtual society. And virtual society has its benefits and has its harms. Now, looking at this, so I thought that because depending on the group, the discussion circle, I can either raise or diminish the content of what I was trying to speak about. So I've given you vaguely the idea of how, of what was happening in the societies at that time. Now, when you want to create a certain terminology, a certain movement in a society, there are two important factors required. One is the knowledge, and second are the incentives. Two things, very important. To drive any particular movement, any particular social change, two important wings are required for that social change to occur. One is the knowledge. Two is the incentives, the emotions, the drive that comes from the heart. And social media plays a great role in both of these. They rightfully create emotions, or wrongfully at times, but they also give information. So at the moment what we are facing is that we have got a vast array of information, different types of information. But that information that is more presentable, that is more modernized, that is more institutionalized, and that information that is together with emotions, that is together with a drive, with a driving force, is what will create that change. So let me give you an example. When they wanted to create a whole change in the society where there would be promiscuity in terms of gender interaction, I call it the promiscuous revolution that happened around after the 1800s into the 1900s and afterwards. Especially the peak of this revolution was in the 1980s, where now you started to have those movies come out. I'm not using those blatant words because we have younger groups here. I hope you understand when I say promiscuous. So these promiscuous movies that came about was the result of what? A revolution. And this revolution's platform was the social media. At that time it was the television. At that time it was the magazines. That's how it started, with information and with emotions. The emotions were what? Freedom. Because inside our hearts there is an inkling. When you hear the words freedom, a certain tickle happens inside the heart. Because freedom are those words, they're those sentiments within your fitrah. So when you use such words like freedom, revolution, these inklings start to work. Women who are oppressed severely now suddenly want full freedom. And no one can stop this because there is strong emotion being presented. And I can tell you, there were movies that were created to show that, for example, if a man has a wife, and then his wife, let's say, na'udhu billah, has a relationship with another man, they would make it look, if the husband is jealous, so for example, the husband is ghairat, there is the difference between ghairat and jealousy, that another man should not look at a person's wife, should not talk with a person's wife. This is called ghaira. They translate it as jealousy. So they made a whole movement, and I can give you the movies, I have a list, of the movies that they made to make it look like this is jealousy, and it's not ghaira. You see the emotions that are being created here. To make it look like it is jealousy. Together with it, knowledge. How many men killed, for example, another man because of this? Statistics. So knowledge. Recite a salawat, please. Allah salli ala Muhammad. So we notice that these motions, these movements started like this. And the social media at the moment is playing the same role, but at a much vaster scale, at much vaster proportions. Unimaginable proportions. Today I just ask you to look at, for example, don't go do a lot of searching, but for example, Justin Bieber's, you know who is Justin Bieber's? Just look at his Instagram, how many likes and how many people are following him. You'll get the shock of your life that so many people are wasting their years and lives looking at this wasteful creature. What has he done for humanity? People are following that person. And what are they trying to portray? Beauty, physical beauty. Person is good looking, handsome, and has got a lot of relationships here and there, is a bit cool. That is the type of lifestyle. Then you had a whole generation of cool looking dumb people who think that they, for example, I'm not trying to criticize. No, people, what I mean is that we've got a large, vast generation of people, of human beings, of youth, ending up following that trend. And they think that is cool. This is the result. It's not their fault. The fault is that the social media is not being, we are not trained to use the social media. The training is not there. The philosophical understanding of the position of social media is not yet clear in our minds, in the minds of the people. And that's why I really praise the organizers of this event for having chosen this important topic, though it has been repeated many times. The topic has been, but I think there has to be a thorough analysis, intellectual analysis, because the world is going towards a direction where people want intellectual reasoning. You can't just emotionally drive them. Intellectual reasoning is important in this day and age. So once we clarify this position, now it becomes easier to go forward. So now that we know this is where it works, I just want to tell you that right now, if you look at the statistics, of the amounts of people that are on the social media. You will be surprised. I know some statistics in Iran of a population of 80, 89, 90 million people. 40 million people are on Instagram, more than half of the population. Don't be surprised about Tanzania. It would be quite the same, because even some of the workers outside, they have those easy phones, 80,000 shilling phones that have got everything. Everything. Social media is now the media. I'll just tell you some other things. You know the revolution that took place, the Islamic awakening that happened in Egypt and in other places. How did it start? By one person burning himself to death in Tunisia. That was just one of the reasons why it started. The actual reasons were the trampling of Islamic values that were happening in those cities, in those countries. And that's why we call it an Islamic awakening. They call it the Arab Spring. They changed through their social media. They call it the Arab Spring. We call it the Islamic awakening. And that's truly what it was. That awakening, the biggest master driving force was the social media. It was through Facebook that they were announcing, we are going to meet today in this and this area, all of you come. 10 million people on the streets by one message on Facebook, by a group of people. You can imagine the power of social media at this age. We can't deny that. As I said, it's a double-edged sword. It can destroy and it can make. Revolutions today can go through just social media. Of course, they need the baggage. And I told you, the psychological and the physical contact is also very important. Which, inshallah, if I get the time, I'll work on it. Because see, if you just spread a message without the background, it won't work. The background behind all these movements was the Islamic sentiments. If this background was not there, however many messages you post on Facebook, no one will come. It was the background of Islamic knowledge, Islamic information, Islamic sentiments that are there already in the hearts of the people that now social media works. So the position also has to be cleared. And I'll try and work on that. Social media, just to come to it now that it has come, social media has got two parts. One is the production part and one is the distribution part. There's production and there's distribution. Production is what will create the type of knowledge and mindset that you want the public to have. You know the revolution, the Islamic awakening that took place in Egypt. One of the reasons, according to analysts, was the use of cereal that was made in Egypt. Nabi Yusuf cereal. You know the series of Nabi Yusuf that came out. The Egyptians, you know how many Arabs were watching that? I had a Lebanese friend, he told me that when in Lebanon, when you would go at night, when Nabi Yusuf cereal was being put, you would see the streets are empty. Where is everyone? They are in their houses watching Yusuf series, which was made by Iran. Translated into Arabic, they are watching Yusuf. So you can imagine the power social media can have. And after that baggage that was created in their minds, those firm incentives, is now when you start to create the sparks through the social media. Now, the social media at the production phase has its own duties. At the distribution phase has its own duties and responsibilities. Both these two factors have to be taken into consideration. Now there is much. I was told to talk about Imam Hussein alayhi salam. I've just got 10 minutes remaining. And there's a lot to be discussed in this area. But I'll just give a quick overview of what some of the topics that I had in mind. And then maybe we can work more on those topics separately. So see, just because I've started this idea of, because there was some background that I wanted to speak about, but since I've started to talk about production and distribution, in production of these social media things, we require experts. Look, what we are doing today as Khojas, what we are doing is we are just distributing second-hand material. And that is why we don't have power in the social media. our power is less. But I would just like to give you case studies. Look at, for example, I don't want to mention names specifically, but look at some of the Khoja's brothers that have started to recite Nauhas themselves in English or in any other language. The social media drive that they have is different from those who don't have. So, for example, look at Pure Stream Media and look at these other Islamic organizations, the ones who create their own material. Those who create and they are producers of material, they are able to create a greater social media drive than those who just distribute. Why is that? Because psychologically they feel that this is ours. But when you just distribute, when I just distribute, use social media to distribute, I put it on Facebook, I put it here, I put it there, that belonging to that concept is not there. And that is why you notice that it's not possible. So what do we do so that the production comes in? Experts. And here only I would like to give a suggestion to the Tabligh committee, as one of the brothers is present here, one of the Tabligh committee, is that we need capacity building in Tabligh. Tabligh committee right now needs to seriously consider social media. All the scholars, not only in Iran, Ayatollah Sistani, all of them, they have stressed on social media at this age. Because the media right now is not confined. Tabligh means to spread the message. Let me read to you Nabi Nuh alayhi salam, what he say when he talks about the social media, social media, general media. Nabi Nuh. He says, قال ربي إني دعوت قومي ليلا ونهارا. I call them, look, he's saying I'm removing time constraints. Night and day I call them. No constriction in terms of day and night. I call them. فَلَمْ يَزِدْهُمْ دُعَائِي إِلَّا فِرَارًا. They ran away from me. وَإِنِّي كُلَّمَا دَعَوْتُهُمْ لِتَغْفِرَ لَهُمْ جَعَلُوا أَصَابِعَهُمْ فِي آذَانِهِمْ. When I was calling them, they were putting their fingers inside their ears. Now this means fingers, normally your fingers can't enter your ear, yeah? Just your fingertips enter the ear. But this is to show the depth of their dumbness and their deafness. That they used to put their, as if their fingers were inside their ears. They're like, I don't want to hear at all. That's what it meant. وَاسْتَغْشَوْا ثِيَابَهُمْ. Not only did they put their ears, their fingers inside their ears, they even covered themselves with their clothes. We don't even see you. So Prophet Nabi Nuh alayhi salam changed the strategy. He went, ثُمَّ إِنِّي دَعَوْتُهُمْ جِهَارًا. Then I started to call them in public. I used to go to them, please listen. I said, public. People, now he wanted to start a social movement. Okay? What does he say? ثُمَّ إِنِّي أَعْلَنْتُ لَهُمْ وَأَسْرَرْتُ لَهُمْ إِسْرَارًا. But I didn't stop there. I did israr. I continuously, they wanted to block, I attacked. They blocked, I attacked. Continuously giving the message. Then he says, فَقُلْتُ ثُمَّ إِنِّي دَعَوْتُ لَهُمْ جِهَارًا ثُمَّ إِنِّي أَعْلَنْتُ لَهُمْ وَأَسْرَرْتُ لَهُمْ إِسْرَارًا. Sorry, وَأَسْرَرْتُ لَهُمْ إِسْرَارًا here means that I was doing it also secretly. It comes from the word sirran. I made a mistake there. So he also did sir and jahr, openly and privately. Now I want to tell you, Nabi Nuh alayhi salam used different methods. Tabligh committee says the same. We told them publicly, they didn't come. We went privately, they didn't come. They are not listening. We are telling them, come to us. They are not coming. Have you discovered all the avenues? Now there's a big avenue of social media. I'm not blaming the Tabligh committee, everyone here. Tabligh committee and all the other committees are doing a great job. At this juncture, I would like to thank them. You cannot imagine the amount of work that is being done by a few people. If I just tell you the hours of hard work that is happening, you'll be surprised and shocked, together with hard work they're doing in the businesses. What I'm saying is that there is a vast potential out there of people that are good in media, design, animation. This is what we need today. This is where we need to open up and build capacities on this. Attract capacity. Bring them forward. Open up. We are ready to sponsor someone who wants to learn animatography, videography. We need these people today because social media is the media. Nabi Nuh said, I exhausted all the medias possible. I stood on the pulpit, I stood on the ground, I went publicly, I went into their houses, I did day and night. That's what Nabi Nuh says. All platforms were exhausted on my time. If I had social media, I would have gone through social media also. Today, Pope Francis has got 4 million viewers in Twitter, 4 million followers. In Instagram, he has 5 million, around 5 million. Pope Francis. This is while we have got a 2 billion population of Roman Catholics, or more right now, 2 billion. But he has such few. Instead, Ayatollah Khamenei has got around 1.3 million followers in Instagram. And Shiaism is how many people in our world? 300,000. Sorry, 130, I'm making a mistake, sorry. 135,600 something. 1.3 is too much. But you can imagine from 300,000 Shias, we have got 135,000 people in Instagram for Ayatollah Khamenei. Means that there is a potential existing that we can bring forth different people in the social media and vastly influence the masses. There is a potential, a great potential possible. The only thing is that these potentials have not been tapped till now, and this tapping needs to be done in an institutionalized manner. It cannot be done privately. So for example, privately some people gather and do stuff. It won't work. Institutionalized, targeted attack. Institutionalize it. Make an institution, officially invite, officially put positions, officially propagate, and this will work out, inshallah. In fact, if I had some abilities, maybe I would even say there is to be probably a whole new, probably a group under a certain institutionalized body. This group specifically works on this field. The importance is just unimaginable. As there are so many statistics here that I would like to mention, but because of time constraints, inshallah, we can leave it to the question answer session, and then we can maybe deal with it in that way. There is some idea on how to use the different social medias, like we've got Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. These 5 or 6. How to use them, because all of them are their own types. How to use them for different issues. Inshallah, if we get time, we can deal with that. And nowadays it's so advanced that, for example, you don't even need to be there every day. There is a certain software called Autogrammer. I don't know, you can search about it. In Autogrammer or something called Schedugram, something like that, you can actually, in a week or prior 1 month before, copy all the videos that you want to post on your Instagram account, or your, let's say, Twitter account, or inside your Facebook account. I want, for example, this post to go on Monday, this post to go on Tuesday at this time, this post to go on Wednesday, Thursday. It's so advanced. I can sit, let's say, one day, put all of them, and I don't need to do anything for the whole week. Everything itself automatically gets posted at this particular time, at this particular day. This much advanced it has become. The tools are in our hands. And because we have Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Imam Hussein alayhi salam is what we call iksir, is an elixir. You put it in any form, it does wonders. It mesmerizes, it engulfs, and it can bring revolutions, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much, Sheikh, for that amazing lecture. Frankly, I had no idea Ayatollah Khamenei has his own Instagram account. So it would be fun to see, or interesting to see what he shares. Our next topic is going to be the Marja's philosophy of Ashura and role of youths in promoting the values of Ashura by Sheikh Zaki Bakri. Sheikh, welcome.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. وفوض أمري إلى الله إن الله بصير بالعباد ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. I don't know. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وآله آل الله لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين صاحب العصر والزمان عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا واخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين أما بعد فقد قال الله وهو أصدق القائلين وقوله الحق بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الذين قالوا ربنا الله ثم استقاموا تتنزل عليهم الملائكة ألا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا وأبشروا بالجنة التي كنتم توعدون. I begin in the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful. Maulana was eloquently talking about media and its role. I don't know how many of the Jamaat people they were aware of today's session. When I asked on the way, majority said they don't know about it. So that means we are not using the media even within our community. So there is a lack of, I cannot say to the youths, mashallah, they are doing their good job. They need to do something about it to convey the message as we are supposed to convey. The topic of him is a very important topic. I don't think I can do justice about it. I'll give it a scenario of existing world and the Maraje and the youth. I think nowadays what I have felt when at the early time when WhatsApp came, everybody was very seriously looking at what messages are there. So as the FB, Facebook, nowadays Instagram, now when we see the messages, we don't care about it. So now it is becoming ineffective social media. So it is for Maulana is good in this subject. So how to create effective media is a challenge. That is not my subject. So Maraj means what? Maraj means to whom we ruju, to whom we seek guidance, and their center point or maybe command center. From there we are seeking the command. If that is so, there is a struggle between the existing media and the Maraje to put a separation between Maraje and the people. That's the reason I remember 1983 we had Aimma Jummah conference in Tehran. Imam Khomeini was alive, rahmatullah alayh. There are so many programs to attend. One of the programs is meeting of the Imam. There were Sunni scholars. I went as an Imam Jummah from Toronto, likewise from all over the world. More than 600-700 scholars. One of the itinerary was to meet the Imam. One sentence of Imam Khomeini has changed my life. And sometimes when I remember, I do tawbah, what I recited before that. The gist of his speech is this sentence. And I was talking one of our private session at Muhammad's place. For the scholars, he was speaking this sentence, saying, "Intezar na dashta bashid, qavi beshid begid. Begid ke qavi beshid." Don't wait to become powerful to say. Say you get power. And if we ponder about this sentence, it is the essence of message of Quran. It is the essence of message of the prophets. It is the essence of the message of those who revolted, brought new revolutions into the masses. Usually what we do is we try to gain some kind of power to speak about something. His philosophy is not his philosophy of the Quran, the Prophet, the Imam Masumin, not to wait to say the truth. Say the truth with confidence, and people has to listen. People have to listen. That so happened when we see the history of Imam Khomeini's revolution. I was there when Shah of Iran, Lanatullah alayhi, was there. A very tense situation in Iran. In Tehran, there were cabras. There was openly you can eat the pork. People used to go for the entertainment from Pakistan, from India, because within 3 hours they can reach Tehran and do everything. And many of the Zahirin, they were not aware. Even Mashhad was the place where you could have had the cabras there in Mashhad al-Muqaddas. Most of the people, they don't know the Zahirin. They used to go to Ziyarat and come back. When I preach, when I go all over the world, people say, "Maulana, Tablighi Majlis padhi hai," just like Tabligh department here. What do you mean by Tablighi Majlis padhi hai? And he talk about namaz, roza, hajj, zakat, taqwa, parezgari. These kind of tabligh means that is the tabligh. And when I was there, about nearly 20,000 ulamas, those who are working on the field. Now we have 50,000 ulamas from all over the world, those who are learning scholars in Qom. How many of us are aware? Nearly 200 Chinese Shia Muslims are studying in Qom. How many of us are aware? There are so many Thai ulamas, those who are studying in Qom. We don't know about it. Even Japanese, first when I was there, Brother Ibrahim was there. Now alhamdulillah, 4 or 5 people are studying there. When Imam Khomeini started his mission, like closely, now already his speeches has been gathered. If you study those speeches, collection of his speeches. And from the book Wilayat Faqih in Najaf, his lectures, he never asked the audience, the people, about namaz and roza and hajj and zakat. No, never. He never talked about it. What was his theme? Same theme of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, theme of Ashura. Mithli la yuba'i'u mithlah. Like of me, like of him. Like of me is my Imam Hussain, like of him is Yazid. They cannot be comparable. I will not going to surrender to Yazid. Not only Yazid, like of him. So it is a continuous tense. Maybe entire history there will be like of Hussain, there will be like of Yazid. So when I see in the history of a marja who started with this sentence, look at who is your enemy. Those who used to go into the clubs and drinking alcohol, everything in Tehran, he brought A change 180 degree. That is the meaning of revolution, means turn topsy-turvy, top to down, down to top. That is the meaning of inqilab. It's not 90 degree, it's 180 degree change. Those youths, those who were enjoying the alcohol, jam, we call it in Persian and Urdu, they changed to jam-e-shahadat. Instead of talking about the drinking, they went to battlefield to fight. They started having beard, salat, and salatul layl. And some of the front people, Imam Khomeini said, they are better than the masajid, the ibadats during that time. What it is he brought that? Let me give you a scenario of today's media. It's so cruel, so cruel. How many Zaireen are in Karbala today? There shall be maybe 20 million by the time of Arba'in. Maybe less or more. If you see in the media, if there are gatherings of 2 million, oh my God, all over the world the media will go to focus. How many of the existing social media is talking about Arba'in in BBC, CNN? None. Why? Saudi poured millions of dollars to stop, not to talk about it. In order to overcome that, what we need, it is not the media. We need a person who can change the tendencies of human being, the thoughts and their way of thinking. They have to change. Who can do that? By revolutionizing the situation. For example, how many of us are aware the history of Germans before Second World War? Once we talk about German, everybody, oh my God. In Toronto, we had Bayt al-Muqaddas and a Quds Day rally. I spoke only 4.5 minutes. Only 4.5 minutes. Next day, entire paper, one page, they were talking about Imam Bakri. He is dangerous. He should be put in the jail. He should be thrown out of the country. He is not good for Canada. Only 4.5. What I said is this. If you go to hospital nowadays, they don't treat you first. First, blood test. Why? What they want to know? They want to know symptoms. Then the cure. First World War, Second World War, today wars are going on in Middle East. Astaghfirullah. 600,000 children are dying in Yemen. And Syria, the beautiful country, cosmopolitan country, has been smashed. Iraq would have been smashed. It is because of the one letter of Ayatollah Sistani, entire situation has changed. It is the it is a Nahadat Ashura. This is what we are talking about. More than 1 million elderly people and everyone from all walks of life, they came as a volunteer to fight and preserve their country. And Alhamdulillah, ISIS have been cleaned out. So let's do a little bit research about the situation before Second World War. First World War, Second World War, today's war. Who is doing? Is a group, Zionism is top of the list. I said they must be eliminated. Oh, that wording is very strong. Zionism should be eliminated. It is the reality. And we have to awake people. Today, it is not Salat and Saum and nothing is the problem is we don't know our enemy. When we go to the battlefield, maybe let's go play ground. Junior team plays with whom? Junior. Why not senior? There is no match, man. Senior teams plays with senior. So who is the player in front of us for the mu'mineen, for the Muslimin? Who is challenging our religion? Who is challenging Ashura? Who is challenging Imam Hussain? Who is challenging Imam Ali? Who is challenging even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? We have to pinpoint. Imam Khomeini rahmatullah alayh, taking inspiration from the revolution of Imam Hussain, he stood against the Shah of Iran who was well equipped, well planned and well backed by the big shaitan. Everyone was aware of. Entire siyasa of Middle East has been turned upside down. That is the revolution. Entire siyasa of the world. If you want to see, it is a very beautiful program, online available, done by BBC, The Man Who Changed the World. I think this is the very beautiful series to three programs they have. Very beautiful. Although they have their very serious, when they present some poisons also. We have to be very careful while we are, because Quran says, "In ja'a fasiqun binaba'in fatabayyanu." When a fasiq comes, when a non-believer comes with the news, first test it, man. Don't accept it as it is. I request all of you from today, don't watch CNN, don't watch all of this. If you want news, go online and see some of the headlines from maybe RT, from the headlines from the Press TV, so you can balance. And there are free press in America, so there are free press in India also. Imam Khomeini, he stood against the entire system of the world, taking inspiration from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inspiration from the Quran, inspiration from the Ashura. He said, I am not going to sit. I have to speak out. Many scholars, still today we are facing same problems. They are mu'ammamin. They are ammama, wearing big ammamas, promoting zanjeer, zani, and kamazani. When we type Shia in Google search, what comes? Is it our culture? Is it our knowledge? Why not Quran? Why not Najul Balagha? Why not Saif-e Kamila? Why not Risalatul Huquq? Look at the media, how they are portraying you. They are very successful in doing so. And these naive youths, they don't know how to express the love of Imam Hussain. To express love of Hussain is saying, Mithli la yuba'i'u mithla. The Maraji today and all times, they were focusing. For example, someone asked Ayatollah Sistani about Jame Kabira and Ziyarat Ashura. He said, these are the Manabe. These are the first source of Shias. There has to be respected. Why Ziyarat Jama'ah should be, which has been taught by Imam Hadi alayhi salatu wasalam, has to be respected, because the essence of the ziyarah is La'anallahu ummatan qatalatka. La'anallahu ummatan dhalamatka wa la'anallahu ummatan sami'at bidhalika faradiyat bih. We talk about hijab to the daughters, our sisters, our mothers. We are not talking about the hand which is snatching the hijab of my sister. The dangerous situation of today, let me describe this way. Bibi Zainab salawatullah salamu alayha, Sharikatul Hussain, is not only Sharikatul Hussain, she is Sharika-e Panjatan. A lady who has given everything in Karbala, she never turns towards her grandfather, complaining. The companion of Imam Hussain gone, she never turns. Her sons have gone, she never turns. Ali Akbar gone, Ali Abbas, all. Even Imam Hussain Shahadat, she never turns. When they snatch the chadar of Zainab, she comes near to her brother, turns towards Medina, Sallallahu alayka ya Rasulallah. Salutation, oh my uncle, oh my grandpa, my salam to you, madru to you. Hadal Hussain. Ayatollah Jawad Amoli is a beautiful. In Ghadir there was a Ashura. In Ashura there was a Ghadir. What do you mean by in Ghadir there was a Ashura? Because how many people were there in Ghadir? 80,000 to 125,000 Hujjaj Muslimin. Prophet said, Man kuntu Mawla, Fahada Aliyun Mawla. They forgot everything within 70 days. So Imam Ali became alone. That means Ghadir becomes Ashura. In Ashur becomes Ghadir. Bibi Zainab giving everything, she says, Hadal Hussain. My question for sisters, for all of us, why she is not turning when she gave away her children? When Ali Akbar is gone, when Hazrat Abbas is gone, why after the chadar? That shows the conscious mind, which is conscious about God, conscious about Allah, conscious about her values. When they sacrifice everything, but they don't want to sacrifice their conscience. So now, our sisters, let me put in this way. Nowadays, they did talk about human rights. Never been fulfilled the rights of human. They talk about women's right. They never fulfill the woman's right. If woman is equal, why don't you put in the Constitution of America and Western Constitution, one term president shall be woman, one term president should be men? They're liars. They want to bring women for the workforce. They use these slogans to corrupt the mind of the masses. They never give. No, nowadays they are using this for the sisters, very good. Empowering women. They are talking about now. Even a sister asked me to give lecture in Bombay about this subject. Empowering women in Islam. We are bombarded by media. We are learning these terminologies. Who has to empower women? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already empowered women. Not woman, human being. Quran is not talking about men or women. There is no gender-based religion. Hudal linnas. Ar-Rahman khalaqal. Read. Khalaqal insan. Not khalaqal rijal. Khalaqal nisa. Khalaqal insan. Why don't we ponder about the general message of religion, which is insan? Not men or women. So Bibi Zainab was confronting the ideology which has been left by Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, the job she started from Karbala with the media. And when she delivered speech in the bazaar of Kufa, everyone was saying she was not speaking, Imam Ali was speaking. Ayatollah Jawad Amali has very beautiful connotation about this. We have in Quran many kinds of communication. Qawlan karima, qawlan layyina. One of the communication is qawlan sadida, talk straight. Don't put audience into the fence so that they can think this way or that way. No. Clear communication. Then we have qawlam ma'rufa. For a sister, it's very beautiful. When a woman is talking to a non-mahram, Quran says, O Prophet of Allah, ask your wife, when they talk to a non-mahram, their ill-natured people, they will think something else. So they should speak very loud so that the passerby should listen what they are talking about, so that they don't get the wrong idea. So Bibi Zainab uses that ayat in the bazaar of Kufa, and she speak. No one says Zainab was speaking. Everybody's thought Imam Ali was speaking. This is qawl ma'ruf. Second World War, before Second World War, if you go to the history of Germans, it's a very beautiful piece of history. Hitler was a good person. I'm sorry, I have to present to you, hitting a stone. Why they made him bad? When he took the office, he had 6 million Germans, those who are not working. 6 million unemployed at that time. Within 3 years, he changed 6 million. He gave jobs. He was such a smart person. When he took office, he started knowing who is corrupting the mind. He came to the conclusion the Zionism is corrupting the mind. They were talking about same-sex marriages, all of this filth which has been talked today. Even this disease has reached to our masajid, our homes, and people now they talk about this subject. I have to go after this London. One of the seminar is about this subject. It is pity. Their philosophy is clear. Corrupt and gown. Corrupt the masses, easy to gown upon the masses. The slogan of Islam is correct and gown. Two different values. Without correction you cannot gown. That's why Imam Ali used to say, Saluni, Saluni. Understand me, then you follow me. And Mawiyah used to say, I have people, those who cannot even judge between male or female camel. I can talk and hours. The conclusion, I don't want because my throat also hurting. Please take this message. The joint enemy of humanity, not only Muslims, is standing tall against us. That is Zionism. That may be called only 1% of the world. How many of us know only 1% of the world they possess the wealth? 99% slaves of that 1%. We are enslaved in the name of freedom. We are inmate of freedom. This is the reality on the ground. We are inmate of these slogans, bare slogans which has no any values. They are corrupting the minds of masses in order to gown upon the human society. How many millions of filthy websites? How many millions of billions of movies? How many sources we have? One is Hollywood. Another is Bollywood, another is Lollywood, another is fourth one is non-Jewood. Someone talked to me, told me, Maulana, आपको बहुत कुछ मालूम है. मैंने कहा चूँकि तुमको देखता हूँ इसीलिए मालूम है. Because I see you, that's why I know you. So I'm sorry. Hollywood, how many of us know billions of dollars of industry? Who is possessing the big portion of the Hollywood is Zionism. 94% of Hollywood belongs to Zionism. They are selling the lies. It's a fictional stories. We could not sell the truth. They are selling the lies. It is so painful. We could not deliver the truth. They're delivering. If you go to any airport, see the There are so many bookstores in the airport. And look at their airport. 90% of the books are fictions. Lies. And people are buying, that's very expensive. There are some of the books are very expensive. So this is media. The Maharaja are standing and warning us to wake up. How long you're going to sleep in this? That's why Imam Khomeini said in one sentence, on the Shamshir, Shamshir is sword. Blood overcame the Shamshir. Blood conquered the Shamshir. Blood conquered the sword. That's the Ashura. So that means you no need power. Your best power is your blood. Your ideology. Why do you need power? For example, if anyone has a friend who is MP of this area, he becomes MP. Oh my God, he shows so much strength in him because he's friend of MP. And if anyone is becoming friend of president, what is his presidentship or prime minister here? Huh? President. If anyone is friend of president, he becomes, oh my God, himself president. And it is reality. Every day we are connecting to the power. قل اللهم مالك الملك تؤتي الملك من تشاء وتنزع الملك ممن تشاء وتعز من تشاء وتذل من تشاء بيدك الخير إنك على كل شيء قدير تولج الليل في النهار وتولج النهار في الليل وتخرج الحي من الميت وتخرج الميت من الحي وترزق من تشاء بغير حساب. على Imran 26-27 ayats. These are the ayats which we have in the du'as also. So if we are sincerely meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the power we gain. I remember Imam Khomeini was in Paris. Reporters came to him. One of the reporters asked, nowadays the world is divided into two blocks. East block, West block. West block is in the hands of America, East block is in the hands of Russia. You are denying both the blocks. Who is going to help you? Imam Khomeini took two things. One is sajda, one is tasbih. I have these powers, I don't need nothing. Islam ke daman mein bas iske siwa kya hai? Ek zarb yadullahi, ek sajda shabiri. It is reality. Inshallah, may Allah give us the inspiration to when we recite ziyarat, when we go to majlis, and focus on today's Yazid, today's ideology of Yazids, today's afkar of Yazids, and overcome, then you know who is in front of me. If you are a good player, you have to know the weaknesses of the opponent and the powers of the opponent. Then you become best player. Today's weakness of the opponent is taqwa. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna ibadi laysa alayhim sultan. Those who are my servants, shaitan cannot do damn nothing. So that means if I become servant, really sincere servant of Allah, no one can do nothing. This is the message the youths have, alhamdulillah, today. As Rahbar Muazzam Ayatollah Khamenei has mentioned, how many of us know a Shaheed's body has buried without head? Shaheed Hujaji, he buried without head. This not only slaughter, they put aside, what they did with the head, they don't know. In Iran, recently, who was defending the Rawza of Bibi Zainab. Today, how many youths are giving lives? How many of us ready to go there? Even me, I'm not ready. And same time we are saying, Ya laytani kuntu ma'ak. I'm a liar. No way. There is a battlefield is going on. So at least they are in front line. At least we have media. Why don't we speak about it? Understand it. in defending the Rawda of Ruqayya bint al-Husayn and Janab Zainab salawatullah salam alayha, hundreds of youths, they are giving lives today. If Hizbullah would have been there today, believe me, Shiaism people who used to come, would have come to our home, they kill us. Today, world is well aware. If anyone who is representing Islam is the Shia theology. I'll narrate you two stories, then I'll finish. I don't want to bore you. A Tunisian doctor lady, it is available online if you know a little bit Arabic, type Al-Mustabsireen Shia. So many Shias, those who are embarrassing the ideology of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam. This lady, she says, after watching ISIS, killings, everything, I decided to leave Islam at all. This is Islam. Then she says, oh, thank God. Allah has shown me the light of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam. So now she is the missionary. She invited thousands of ladies in Tunis, in Egypt. They are turning like إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحُ وَرَيْتَ النَّاسَ يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا. Second example is, after Iraq has given, people of Iraq has given so much blood, so many miseries. After that, alhamdulillah, a little bit light is coming. An alim from Karbala TV was giving tafsir. In Riyadh, a lady from Hijaz, don't say Saudi. Saudi itself, the word Saudi itself is a bid'ah. It's a Hijaz. She was turning the channels, and all of a sudden she sees this alim and he's holding Quran, and she recognizes the Shia alim and he's holding Quran. She rushed and brought her Quran. Oh, it's the same Quran. Till now we have been taught Shia have different Quran, but he's reciting same ayats what I have. And the tafsir he's saying better than all the tafsir which I heard in my life. She went on detail, and now she is a missionary. The youths of Hijaz, they have given so much their blood. I don't know how many, in thousands of thousands, within the Saudi, they are following the maktab of Ahlul Bayt. This problem of Yemen and all is not that. It is biggest problem, is the biggest revolution is coming within Hijaz. It is because of Ashura. And alhamdulillah, we have this such a power. We need to understand the time. Awareness of the time. If you are aware, the ill effect of the time is not going to attack you. You will attack the time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.